The biggest news of the day is not that the US is indicting Trevor Milton of Nikola for new wire fraud. It's actually the fact that Fed Jerome Powell says he is strongly committed on inflation and notes a recession is a possibility, but at the same time, all of the market indexes are currently in the green. Now, let's talk about some specific things that are happening with AMC. Like the cost of borrow rates are jumping. You are seeing more bullish option activity for the day, and where we just sit on the overall spectrum when it comes down to AMC stock, because I am very excited and I do think we are in for a bullish reaction over the next coming days and coming weeks. So let's get into this video. If you guys find value out of it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. Thank you guys for tuning in. Now let's get straight into it. So first and foremost, if you guys did not see the video that came out earlier, like I said, Fed Jerome Powell reiterates that he is strongly committed to fighting inflation and notes a recession is a possibility. Now, the key point says Fed Chairman Jerome Powell said Wednesday that the central bank is strongly committed to bringing down inflation and can do so with its monetary policy tools. That means higher interest rates until compelling evidence emerges that inflation is coming down. Fed Jerome Powell did also reiterate a lot of the same verbiage that we have heard, but that talk about a recession is a possibility was definitely different, and it does look like Fed Jerome Powell is being a little bit more honest with the statements he made with Congress today. Keep in mind, Fed Jerome Powell does also testify in front of Congress again tomorrow, so that is also going to be another very important event. If he drops us any new clues or hints to how long they're going to raise rates or how aggressive or how high they're going to have to go, that is what the markets are going to pay attention to. But besides what the Fed says, the only other thing the markets are concerned about is the economic data that will start to come out, not this week, but over the next couple of weeks, as well as just where inflation is at, what the expectations are for how high the Fed is going to raise rates, and that is monitored through the Fed Rate Monitor tool. So at the next Fed meeting, we are widely expected with a 98.1% probability of getting a 50 basis point rate hike, and that's where the markets are currently at right now. We've bounced about 3.5% from the bottom. I still do think there's a 5 to 10% bounce from the bottom still to come, so potentially 5 to 7% still left to come, and that's probably the move that we'll see over the next couple of days, as we really don't have any economic data coming out besides the Fed bank stress test, and that's also going to be very, very important, and we'll talk about that a little bit more here in the next video. But if we do get some bad economic data in the next 5 weeks, 22 hours, and 1 minute, you could see the expectations change, and we could start to expect a 75 basis point rate hike, maybe even a 1% rate hike if we start to get really bad data over the next couple of weeks. So that's really what I'm going to pay attention to, is this Fed Rate Monitor tool. Keep in mind what happened the last CPI report on Friday. We were expecting a 50 basis point rate hike with about a 97% probability, about where we're sitting at right now. And then by that following Monday, it had totally switched. By the following Monday, we were expecting a 97% chance of seeing a 75 basis point rate hike, and that is what the Fed ultimately did go with. So whatever the markets are pricing in is what the Fed is going to do, and that will drive equity prices here in the shorter term. Now, let's talk about what is happening with AMC stock today, because the cost of borrow rates are going higher. Let's look at that. Click on shorts over here on Ortex, and you can see the cost to borrow minimum is now at 15.66%. Cost to borrow average is now approaching 20%, and the cost to borrow max is almost at 28%, 27.87%. We'll come back and take a look at all of the other numbers you guys need to know, but what drives cost to borrow rates up? It says stock loan fees are charged to clients of brokerages for borrowing stock. This is typically done for the purpose of short selling. The more difficult it is to borrow the stock, the higher the fee. And if you look at this one, it says borrow rates fluctuate based on the security's demand and available inventory. But bear in mind that as short interest increases, brokers may raise the borrow rate because they perceive higher risk. So that's the thing. Essentially, if you perceive higher risk as a short seller or somebody that is loaning out shares to be sold short, then that would mean that you are applying or implying, I should say, a greater likelihood of seeing a bigger move to the upside. And I think that's what the technicals show us, and I think that's just where we are currently at with AMC stock. We are overdue for a substantial green day and string together a couple green days in there, and that's what I think we're looking at throughout the rest of this week. My price prediction is firmly around $15 per share, in between the 50 and 100 day moving averages, and that would be about a 15 to 20% move to the upside. That would be a really strong green day. As we do know, we have a lot of option activity for that July 15th expiration, and if we do see a move to the upside, if we can break out above 13, break out above 15, that is going to cause a little bit of a gamma squeeze even out to that July 15th expiration, even if it were to happen by the end of the day today. So cost to borrow rates going up yet again is a very, very bullish sign. Now, the current short interest of free float is sitting at 22.58%. Current shares that are sold short of 116.38 million. Cost to borrow minimum 15.66%. Cost to borrow average of 19.67%. Cost to borrow max of 27.87%. Like I said, so looking good right there. 100% share utilization. It says cost to borrow right here, which is very interesting, up about 25% over the last 7 days, sitting at 14.45%. Shares out on loan 193.35 million. Free flow out on loan 37.5%. So also looking very bullish there. And as we can see from the option activity, this order just came in for a July 1st 1250 call worth about $41,000, $70,000 bullish call, a $33,000 bullish call. A lot of large puts though. Like the puts that you are seeing are for a lot of money. As you can see right here, a June 24 $20 put worth $1.5 million. So on one front, I do think the cost of borrow rates are going up because people are implying a bigger move to the upside that is to come. But at the same time, I don't think there is a lot of shares that are available, if not any shares that are still available. We have been at 100% share utilization for a long period of time, and people are wondering, and they're literally asking in the comment section, and you might be one of them, if we don't have any shares left, then how is the stock still falling? How is the short interest, staying pretty flat, but you're still seeing a lot of shares going out on loan, so on and so forth? Well, the long story short is the market makers, they are controlling the stock right now. Depending on what orders go through on a daily basis, that is the direction that you are getting for the stock. Like today, an overwhelmingly high dollar amount of options are bearish, really just because of this $1.5 million $20 June 24th put. That is putting a lot of pressure on the stock to the downside. So that is what is holding us pretty flat on the day. We're sitting positive about 0.76%, but not even now. It just refreshed, and we're hardly positive on the day, and that is due to a lot of option activity. Even in the beginning of the day, we were looking very good. But, as other stocks did start to go up, AMC stock has started to flip, as you guys can see from this daily chart, this 1 minute candlestick chart. It's been pretty good, selling off a little bit into the close of the trading day today. So overall, when I look at the technicals here, when I see that the S&P 500 on the same chart has been falling through the floor and AMC has not been, and you are still, believe it or not, from May 12th, this low that we hit at $9.70 per share, you're still up 30% from the bottom, and it looks like you could be looking at a technical breakout if we can break above these key moving averages, which would put us around $15 per share, in my personal opinion, by the end of the week. And that is going to be a very, very bullish thing and should drive a lot of buying pressure into the stock. Now, I will say, as far as the option activity, you don't even have to get down to June 15th, like I previously mentioned a little bit here in this video. You don't even need to see the week of July 15th to see a gamma squeeze. You could actually see this over the next couple of weeks. We're in this this time period where premiums are very cheap for AMC options. So when premiums are cheap, your break evens are a lot lower. So if people are going out and purchasing options like they have been over the last couple of weeks, your break evens are very low. So if the stock does move up and you get to the certain threshold for market makers, which is usually right at that break even price, you're going to see a lot of shares being bought by the market makers, and that could push us up to incredibly high levels. You're also seeing people like the Motley Fool saying that, hey, it might be a good time for serious investors to go ahead and buy themselves some AMC, just because where the fundamental business is going. And potentially I do think we will see a catalyst here on the near term horizon. It's been a while since we got an update from the popcorn business, the credit card business, or what kind of new acquisitions or stakes that AMC is purchasing in other companies. So I do think something along those lines is definitely well overdue. Now, for what we have throughout the rest of this week, you do have Fed Jerome Powell tomorrow. That's going to be a big thing. You do have an ECB speaker at 7:30 in the morning. That will be important tomorrow. You do also have initial jobless claims. The Fed speaks at 9, like I said, but you also do have the Fed bank stress test results. That comes out at 3:30 p.m. tomorrow, and that's going to be the main catalyst that will drive that end of the week move for Friday. I do imagine it's going to be bullish. Banks have had a while to predict what's going to happen, and I don't expect them to be caught off guard with the stress test. I think they will do okay, and I think that could be a very bullish thing for the overall markets. Now, if we take a look at where AMC stock is at, you're sitting at about $12.50 per share, but I am going to go ahead and mark a new level that I've been paying very close attention to, and that is essentially I did not want to do that, so we'll go ahead and take those off. But the level that I'm really watching is right here at about $11.40 per share, about 44 cents per share. This is really the level where you closed at this level these 2 days right here. This was essentially the low of the day, 11.54, and then it was also the low of this day right here. So 4 back-to-back days where it was essentially the low or the close of the day, and even back here it was the lows of multiple days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days total in about the last month, about the last 20-ish trading days. I think that's going to be a very important level. $11.50 per share, give or take, about a $1 move to the downside if for whatever reason we do get that downside. Overall, we've been in this channel of just up and down, but we have been trending to the upside ever so slightly. It's kind of hard to see if you don't look right, if you don't actually draw a trend line. It's kind of hard to see, but you are in an overall slight uptrend, and as long as we get a bullish reaction in the markets, as long as there is not a reason for people to go out and buy more puts on AMC, I think the stock will rally in a considerable way and leave us around $15 by the end of this week. But overall, guys, I know I just said overall a couple times, so you guys, you English watchdogs out there, I do apologize for repeating that word a couple times. I actually had someone go off on me for that yesterday, which is all fine and dandy. Let me know where I could improve. But nonetheless, the short interest being so high, cost to borrow rates being so high, the lack of data that is coming out over this week, I think is going to be a bullish thing for AMC stock. The technical picture here looks very good as well. The RSI at 47.76, so pretty neutral, under the neutral level actually, so it's a little bit on the oversold side, which is surprising considering we are in a slight uptrend. We are up 30% since what was that again? May 12th. So very surprising right there. Lack of volatility on the RSI. The MACD has stayed bullish, so that is also a good thing. When you add this together, I think we are in for a substantial rally in the overall markets and for AMC stock. So that is going to be all for this video. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. Make sure to get your free stock with Webull, Moomoo, and Public as well. Moomoo right now, if you deposit $100, you will get 7 free shares. Same thing for Webull. I believe you will get 10 free shares, or is it 8 free shares if you sign up, deposit $100 with Webull. I've done all of them. I have pretty much every single brokerage out there besides Tasty Trade, you know, just because you might as well get your free stock. And it's never a bad idea to have money in different brokerages in case something happens with one, you're not able to trade a certain security or whatever happens. They all have their pros and cons, but it's definitely worth getting that free money if you guys have not already. If you guys want to trade with me live in real time as well, link down below in the description of this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.